Most people think they're failing financially just because they're not rich yet. But what if I told you that you might actually be doing way better than you think? In this video, I'll talk about the signs that prove you're doing great in your financial life, even if no one else sees it yet. We'll break down what these signs are, why they matter, and how they show you're not stuck. You're actually building something. And if you recognize some of these signs in your own life, you'll also learn how to double down, grow faster, and take your progress to the next level. I'm Barack from the Coin Compass, and I have just completed my 2 weeks of research to find these signs and expose them to you. But here's the trap that keeps so many people up at night. They're doing okay financially, but they don't feel like it. They work, they pay their bills, maybe they even save a little. But there's this constant buzz in the back of their mind. I should be doing more. I should be further ahead. I'm probably falling behind. And that pressure, it steals the win, even when you're winning. The truth is, one of the biggest signs that you're doing great in finance is that your money no longer causes you panic. You're not lying awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if you'll make rent, cover the bills, or survive another surprise expense. You're not fighting to breathe between paychecks. You're not avoiding your bank app like it's a horror movie. That calm, that space to think instead of just react, that's a sign of progress. Yes, working hard is part of the journey, but constantly worrying about money is not. There's a difference between building income and being chained to fear. And sometimes, what feels like struggle is actually stability in disguise. You might not have a giant salary, but if your lights are on, your fridge has food, and your stress level isn't tied to the next direct deposit, you're already doing better than you think. But just because money is coming in doesn't mean you're in control of it. A lot of people get a paycheck every month and still feel lost. Why? Because they focus on the salary number, not what actually lands in their account. They brag about earning $60,000, $90,000 or more, but have no idea what's left after taxes, insurance, and deductions. And if you don't know your real income, it's like trying to build a house without knowing how much wood you have. You'll guess, you'll stress, and eventually, you'll fall short. One of the clearest signs you're doing great in finance is this. You know exactly how much you earn, how often you get paid, and what you can actually spend. You've got a steady, predictable income. It might not be massive, but it's reliable. It shows up on time. You've built your life around it, and you've learned to manage it instead of letting it manage you. That kind of awareness isn't small. It's foundational. It gives you control. It helps you plan. And more importantly, it's the starting point for growth. Because once you know what's coming in and where it's going, you can finally start thinking ahead, not just about what you earn, but what you build with it. And that brings us to the next big sign of progress. You're not just working for money, you're starting to make your money work for you. A savings account might protect your money, but it won't grow it. That's why one of the clearest signs you're on the right financial path is this. You've started investing, even if it's small, even if it's just a few dollars a month. Because investing flips the script. You stop working only for money, and your money starts working for you. It grows, it compounds, it creates value while you sleep. The goal isn't to become an expert overnight. It's to get your money off the bench and into the game. Whether it's stocks, index funds, bonds, or real estate, every investment has a job to build equity, increase value, and generate income for your future. You don't have to take wild risks. You don't have to wait until you're rich enough. You just have to start. Consistency beats size every time. And if you've already taken that first step, even just opening an investing account or buying your first share, you're doing better than most. You're thinking beyond the now. You're building something that doesn't rely on you showing up every single day. But for all that growth to work, there's one thing that keeps it stable: managing your day-to-day life. Let's look at how covering your monthly expenses without stress or debt is a bigger win than people realize. Your rent gets paid, the lights stay on, there's food in the fridge, you've got gas in the car, and your loan payments are handled on time. That might sound basic, but it's not. It's stability. And stability is powerful. If you can consistently cover your essentials, like housing, utilities, food, transport, and debt obligations, without borrowing from next month or swiping your credit card in fear, you're already ahead of the game. It means your life is sustainable. You're not scrambling to plug holes. You're not surviving off overdraft fees or payday loans. You're actually managing. And maybe you've even taken it a step further, grabbing dinner with friends once in a while, upgrading a phone without guilt, or buying something you actually want without debt chasing you afterward. That balance, where you can take care of what you need, enjoy a little of what you want, and still sleep at night, that's a financial win. But doing well today doesn't mean you stop thinking about tomorrow. Because one of the smartest moves people make often quietly in the background, is preparing for the day their paycheck stops coming. That's where real financial foresight begins. Retirement planning. Most people push off retirement planning because it feels far away, too abstract, not urgent enough. But here's the catch. By the time it feels urgent, it's usually too late. Right now, nearly half of working adults have saved nothing for retirement. Zero. And many more have just a tiny amount tucked into a dusty account they haven't touched in years. So if you've started saving, even just a little, you're already ahead of the crowd. You've accepted something most people avoid, that one day you'll stop working and your money will need to keep going. Retirement planning isn't just about numbers. It's about freedom, peace, the ability to enjoy life without depending on a job, your kids, or luck. Whether you're putting money into a pension, a retirement fund, an investment account, or building a passive income stream, it all counts. What matters is that you're thinking long-term. And it's not just about how much you're saving. It's about creating income sources that continue to support you after you clock out for good. Because retirement isn't just about stopping work. It's about building a life you don't want to escape from. But while you're planning for that future, there's one trap that can quietly destroy it all if you're not careful, and that's credit card debt. It starts small, a quick purchase, and I'll pay it off later. But when later comes, so does the interest, fast and unforgiving. Most credit cards charge rates so high that even small balances can snowball into something unmanageable. One missed payment becomes two. Then the late fees kick in. Then your minimum payment barely touches the balance. Before you know it, your paycheck is going straight to yesterday's impulse. That's not just expensive, it's exhausting. It drains energy, focus, and your future. But if you're avoiding that trap, that's a sign you're doing great. It means you understand that credit cards aren't free money. They're tools. Used right, they build your credit score, offer rewards, and create flexibility. Used wrong, they create a hole you have to dig out of for years. Being able to use a credit card without falling into debt isn't just responsible, it's powerful. It shows discipline, it shows control, and it protects everything you're building from your savings to your retirement. But staying out of debt is easier when you're not doing it alone. And that brings us to a sign of real financial strength that doesn't get talked about enough. Open, honest conversations about money, especially with the person you share your life with. One of the biggest hidden risks in personal finance isn't debt or spending, it's silence. According to surveys, nearly 40% of couples don't know how much their partner earns, and even more admit they've never had a serious talk about budgeting, saving, or long-term goals. That's not just a communication gap, it's a planning disaster waiting to happen. If you and your partner talk openly about money, your income, your goals, your challenges, you're doing better than most. It means you're not just sharing a life, you're building one together, brick by brick, on solid financial ground. Talking about money isn't always easy. It brings up fear, shame, pride, insecurity. But when you push through that discomfort, something powerful happens. You create alignment. You stop working against each other without realizing it. You start moving in the same direction, whether you split bills, pool income, or do some mix of both. What matters most is that you talk, regularly, honestly, without blame, without hiding. That kind of communication makes long-term financial planning real, not just something floating in the future. And if you've already had those talks, if you check in, adjust together, and make plans as a team, you're not just managing money, you're leading your household like a unit. That's leadership, that's clarity, that's strength. But even with good habits, strong income, and clear goals, your financial progress can stall the moment you stop learning. Money doesn't stand still. The world changes, interest rates shift, markets move, new tools appear, and the people who win financially aren't the ones who know everything. They're the ones who keep asking questions. If you're reading, watching, listening, learning, you're already ahead. Tuning into videos like this one, flipping through a finance book, listening to a podcast on your commute, taking a short online course, or even just reading a few articles each week, those small choices add up. They sharpen your instincts. They help you spot opportunities. They protect you from mistakes. They make your decisions informed, not emotional. You stop falling for every shiny thing that promises fast results. You start building a filter so you can separate noise from real strategy. Self-education is one of the clearest signs you're serious about your financial life. It means you're not waiting for someone to save you. You're not outsourcing your future. You're owning it. And here's the truth most people miss. Every financially successful person you admire, they're still learning too. Because growth doesn't come from knowing. It comes from staying curious. So if you're here, watching this, asking how to improve, how to grow, how to move forward, That alone puts you in a different category. You're not just surviving, you're building, and trust me, you're doing better than you think. Subscribe to the Coin Compass if you like this video, and if you really want to take your finances to the next level, you must adopt the secret habits of the rich. Watch this video next to find out what they are.